What's up, guys? Justin with the Podcast Dojo. There's been lots of talk of Toys R Us not doing so well lately, especially with the closure of over 100 stores in the last year. However, there's another toy chain that rivaled them that I feel has been forgotten and needs to be discussed. I'm talking about none other than KB Toys. I remember these stores quite well, and I honestly don't remember them not being in shopping malls. So let's dive in and talk about KB Toys.
The place to find a KB Toy Store is at your local shopping mall, where you'll find great toys, like the Nintendo Entertainment System with the Zapper light gun and Rob the Robot. Where you gonna find KB?
Let's take a trip back to 1922 and start with the Kaufman Brothers. The Kaufman Brothers were wholesale candy retailers in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, who specialized in providing candy and soda fountain supplies to retailers. They discovered the toy business by accident. In the 1940s, they had a client who owed them outstanding debt for purchased candy, so the brothers acquired said client's toy company. The brothers changed the name of the store to KB Toy and Hobby Stores. The brothers saw this as a way to expand their business, as candy was becoming very expensive to produce. Supplies were limited during World War II, especially sugar. Luckily for them, the toy business had been so profitable that the brothers put all their focus on toys by 1948. The Kaufman brothers would open up their first toy store in Connecticut in 1959. By 1973, the Kaufman brothers switched from wholesaling to retail stores full-time to focus on their 26 retail stores at the time. During the 1970s mall boom, the Kaufmans took advantage of this, and by 1976 they went from 26 stores to 65 stores across New England, New York, and New Jersey. In 1977, the name was changed from KB Toy and Hobby to just KB Toy and Hobby Shops Incorporated, to separate themselves from competitors with initials in their names and logos. The name changed again in 1981 to just KB Toys, to lose the emphasis on hobby products. By this point, they owned and operated 210 stores. Also in 1981, the company was purchased by Melville Corporation. As a subsidiary of Melville, KB Toy acquired Toy World with 52 stores in 1982, Circus World in 1990 with 330 stores, and K&K's 133 stores in 1991. This had been the biggest purchase Melville Corporation ever did, at a price of $64.2 million. Howard Kaufman remained the president of KB Toys, and the company continued to exploit stores and shopping malls. KB Toys had continued to grow in volume and could even compete with major competitors. One of KB's practices was to buy discontinued toys from manufacturers at a good price and sell it at reduced prices. These toys would be set up at the interest of the store to attract shoppers. What really shaped their business practices is the fact that they were in shopping malls. If people went to Toys R Us or say Walmart, it was a conscious decision to go there. However, if people were inside shopping malls, they had to attract the customers who were already out shopping inside the malls. This is also why the stores were designed with bright, attractive colors. Another practice that helped KB Toys was their emphasis on family values. In 1994, KB developed the Prescribed Reading Early to Kids program to provide grants and free books to kids in lower income neighborhoods. They also didn't sell toys that were violent or could be violent. The Sega game Night Trap was removed from stores after it had become controversial for its violence. Pretty big move on their part, considering their close relationship with Sega of America. All realistic toy guns were removed from the stores in 1994 after a 13-year-old boy was shot in New York by a police officer who mistook his toy gun for a real one. That incident also inspired the Goods for Guns program, which offered gift certificates to people who surrendered real firearms. In the early 90s, KB Toys began to close their less profitable stores, which was around 250, as a strategic realignment program. This did hurt sales by quite a bit. They were at $1 billion mark in 1990 and then went to around 919,000 in 1993. However, with good management, the company went back to $1 billion in 1994. They continued to do well throughout the late 90s by closing underperforming stores and getting rid of obsolete merchandise. There was even an online store released in 1998. KB tried to work with the slowing trend in the toy industry by coming up with alternatives such as working closely with vendors on promotions and pre-selling toys that were in high demand. KB Toys even partnered with America Online and BrainPlay.com to sell merchandise. Things started to go downhill in 2000 when Bain Capital bought KB Toys. Bain Capital made the decision to take on debt in a maneuver called dividend recapitalization. It allowed Bain Capital to take a quick profit but left KB Toys with more debt. Bain Capital always described themselves as a turnaround artist, and with my experience of doing these videos, anyone calling themselves a turnaround artist is usually a hack. Not only that, but KB was doing just fine and didn't need to be turned around. I do want to discuss something before moving on to the next thing. I've seen articles blaming the 2012 presidential candidate Mitt Romney for the downfall of KB Toys. This isn't totally true. He was with Bain Capital, yes, but he left Bain Capital in 1999, 1 year before the purchase of KB Toys. There were a few other problems here as well. KB Toys thrived off the mall boom of indoor shopping malls. However, by the early 2000s, indoor shopping malls were slowly dying off. It was now all about the big box stores and outdoor shopping malls. It didn't help that 2003 was a bad year for them in Christmas. KB Toys filed for bankruptcy in 2004 but was able to escape it in 2005 due to closing 600 stores. Prenton's Capital Management took over in 2005, but they basically inherited what would become a dumpster fire. In 2007, numerous toys were recalled due to lead contamination, and of course mall traffic still wasn't getting any better. KB Toys began giving up all their market shares to Toys R Us, Walmart, and Target. With 2008 marking the economic recession, KB Toys began liquidating their 431 stores in December of 2008. Their final stores closed on February of 2009. So what do I think about KB Toys? Well, personally I like them a lot more than Toys R Us. KB Toys always felt more inviting, and the smaller stores made it easier to navigate. The story reminds me a lot about Burger Chef, how they could have overthrown McDonald's if they really wanted to. I feel that KB Toys could have taken out bigger competition like Toys R Us if they wanted to. However, in the 2000s, the same management that got them out of financial binds just wasn't around anymore. It doesn't help that kids don't play with toys today like they did decades prior. This brings me to my what if scenario. For this one, we are going to say what happened if Toys R Us never existed. For this scenario, we are going to say that KB Toys still keeps all their old business practices. I feel it's quite possible they would never have had big box stores like Toys R Us did. However, with no big competitor, I think they would survive even longer. But not by much. KB Toys hasn't been around for almost 10 years, and yet Toys R Us is going down the tubes. I think that things like the decline of shopping malls, the recession, and the lead contaminants still pose a problem for KB Toys. I think they would still be in the same position as Toys R Us is today, but could they survive as an online store only? Maybe, we'll never truly know, but these scenarios are always fun to think about. You can still buy KB Toys products today. In September of 2009, Toys R Us bought the KB brand and the trademark, so you can still see KB Toys originals at Toys R Us. But for how long? Hey everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, hope you learned something. What memories do you have of KB Toys? Do you agree with my what if scenario? Be sure to check out some other videos I did in the annotations, including a what happened theory on Toys R Us filing for bankruptcy. Thanks guys, and I will catch you guys next time.